du Niger et autres personnalités qui sont là au nom de la fraternité et la solidarité africaine. Soyez les bienvenus, le ballon d'or, le seul ballon d'or africain.
Thank you very much. Next to be sworn in is the exalted office of His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. May I once again crave the indulgence of the Commander Guards Brigade to please invite His Excellency, the 16th President-elect BOLA Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the saluting days for the swearing-in of oath of office. And he's being accompanied by
Excellence, invité distingué, mesdames et messieurs, c'est un moment historique pour le Nigeria. J'invite respectueusement le commandant de la brigade des gardes à inviter le président élu de la République fédérale du Nigeria, son Excellence BOLA Ahmed Tinubu, accompagné par sa belle femme, Madame Al-IyamoyeTv TINUBU, pour la prestation de serment. Excellence, vous avez la parole.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Badeja.
Applaudissements.
BOLA AHMED TINUBU, do solemnly and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties and perform my functions honestly, to the best of my ability, and faithfully, in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law. That I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interests to influence my official conduct or my official decisions. That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, help me God.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President BOLA Ahmed Tinubu, as he takes his oath of office and sign the dotted lines confirming him as the new President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
C'est le moment historique. Maintenant, la prestation du serment par son Excellence, le Président de la Nigeria, son Excellence BOLA Ahmed Tinubu, qui maintenant prête le serment. Maintenant, c'est la signature.
While the President is signing, just like her predecessor, we heartily welcome the 16th First Lady Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency, Senator Mrs. Al-IyamoyeTv TINUBU, wife of the 16th President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. His Excellency President BOLA AHMED TINUBU, an educationist, administrator, and philanthropist Oluremi Tinubu, as First Lady of Lagos State, established the New Era Foundation, dedicated to establishing centers for all-round development of young ones and promote public awareness on environmental, health, and community service. Oluremi Tinubu has executed a lot of philanthropical acts to alleviate the plight of indigent persons, and most importantly, she has touched the lives of girls and women in her constituency. In recognition of her achievements and contribution to societal upliftment, Senator Oluremi Tinubu has been honored severally, both locally and internationally. Among these are the National Award of the Officer of the Order of the Niger, Ghana Noble International Award of Leadership, Gambia Diamond Award for immense contribution to the emancipation of people from poverty, many citations and chieftaincy titles. In appreciation of her contribution as a role model, the West African Women Association named the Oluremi Tinubu Women Training Center in Gorom, Senegal, after her. From First Lady, Lagos State, to Senator, and today, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You are heartily welcome on board.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici le moment. Eagle Square a éclaté. Nous avons applaudi avec la prestation de serment au président du Nigeria, son Excellence, Président BOLA AHMED TINUBU, le Jagaban.
Madame Oluremi Tinubu, elle est l'administrateur, philanthrope. Elle est née le 21 septembre 1960. Madame Tinubu a fait ses études supérieures à l'université de après lequel elle a posé sa candidature aux élections. Elle est devenue membre député depuis le 28 mars 2015. Madame Tinubu, en reconnaissance de ses réalisations et réalisations de ses contributions à l'amélioration de la société, elle a été honorée plusieurs fois, localement et internationalement. Actuellement, elle est la 6e première dame du Nigeria. Félicitations, membre de député Oluremi Tinubu, la nouvelle première dame du Nigeria. Merci beaucoup.
Okay. Go this way with the family. Go this way. Oh, yeah.
Applause for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency BOLA AHMED TINUBU, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, congratulations once again.
Excellence, Monsieur le Président, félicitations au Président du 16e du Nigeria, Son Excellence, Président BOLA AHMED TINUBU. Félicitations, Excellence.
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the swearing in, what we shall be witnessing next is the lowering of the national and defense flags, which may interest all our dignitaries to know that at the end of every dispensation, the national and defense flags are being lowered, which signifies the end of a dispensation. A new national and defense flag are being received from His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to be hoisted back on the poles, signifying the commencement of a new dispensation. We shall be witnessing that shortly. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, taking you back to the happenings on the parade ground, to the far right of the parade, we can see the color bearers who would be participating in the lowering and hosting of the new national and defense flag, and are being accompanied this morning by the Regimental Sergeant Major Guards Brigade, Nigerian Army, Master Warrant Officer Aliyu Umar. The flag bearers are Corporal Kalu Chigozie of the Nigerian Army, Able Seaman Etimwa Emmanuel of the Nigerian Navy, Sergeant Kanu Samson of the Nigerian Army, and Sergeant Undoma Patrick of the Nigerian Air Force. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it may interest you to know that this highly regimented aspect of the occasion is usually observed during transition of power, as we will witness shortly. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'activité que nous témoignons à côté de gaz de salutation et l'abaissement des drapeaux. Il y a deux drapeaux, si vous voyez bien. Il y a le drapeau de la défense et le drapeau national. L'abaissement des drapeaux signifie la nouvelle ère et le nouveau drapeau, le nouveau ère dans la dispensation de la justice au Nigeria. Et voici ce que nous allons témoigner. Les activités sont faites par deux soldats de marine nationale et de l'armée de terre.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please may we all rise while officers and warrant officers in place.
Mesdames et messieurs, les officiers en uniforme et les sous-officiers doivent saluer. C'est une activité très militaire qui signifie la passation. Les officiers doivent saluer. C'est une activité très militaire qui signifie la passation du pouvoir entre l'ancien président Muhammadu Buhari et le nouveau président BOLA AHMED TINUBU. C'est une activité par la force armée nigériane qui va signifier le changement de drapeau, entre autres. Merci beaucoup.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Thank you. That was the lowering of the national and defense flag done by Corporal Kalu Chigozie of the Nigerian Army and Able Seaman Etimwa Emmanuel of the Nigerian Navy, signifying the end of a dispensation political arena of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And at the end of the national and defense flags, they would now proceed to fold the flag before handing them over to the Regimental Sergeant Major Gas Brigade, who will in turn proceed to hand it over to the Commander Gas Brigade, Brigadier General A.M. Umar, after which he will also proceed to hand it over to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, CFR, who would be finally handing it over to the immediate past President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, signifying the end of his administration. We shall be witnessing that shortly.
Stand up!
Ce que se passe, mesdames et messieurs, est le pillage de deux drapeaux, le drapeau national et le drapeau de la défense. Et comme j'ai dit, vous verrez les deux officiers qui sont au terrain de parade. Il y a le commandant de brigade de garde, le général de brigade A.M. Umar, qui va recevoir les deux anciens drapeaux et les deux nouveaux drapeaux. Il le passera au chef de corps de la défense, le général Lucky Irabo. Et Irabo passera les deux drapeaux au président du Nigeria, le président BOLA, AHMED TINUBU. C'est ça qui signifie le début d'une nouvelle ère de la dispensation et de la gouvernance au Nigeria. C'est une activité très militaire et indication qui indique la passation du pouvoir. Voilà pourquoi nous sommes ici ce matin. Merci beaucoup.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what you are witnessing at the moment is the folding of the national and defense flags, and they are being done by Corporal Kalu Chigozie of the Nigerian Army, Able Seaman Etimoa Emmanuel of the Nigerian Navy, Sergeant Samson Kanu of the Nigerian Army, and Sergeant Ndoma Patrick of the Nigeria Air Force. You can see them paying compliment after folding the flag as the flag bearers turn about and march smartly towards the Regimental Sergeant Major Guards Brigade, Master Warrant Officer Aliyu Umar, who is carrying a case as he pays compliment and opens the case. You can see first the defense flag is being placed and the old national flag is also being placed in the case carried by the Regimental Sergeant Major Gas Brigade. They pay compliment as he turns to his right, marching smartly towards the Commander Gas Brigade, Brigadier General A.M. Umar. He comes to a halt as the commander pays compliment. He takes a step forward and hands over the case flag to the Commander Gas Brigade as he takes his steps backward, paying compliment. And the commander turns to his right, marching towards the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, CFR, who pays compliment before receiving the case flag from the commander.
Le général de corps de brigade vient de passer le drapeau national et le drapeau de la défense. Son Excellence, le général Irabo marche majestueusement vers le président. Il passera le drapeau à l'ancien président Buhari et M. Buhari passera le drapeau au nouveau président Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You can see the Chief of Defense Staff handing over the old national and defense flags to the immediate past President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, signifying the end of his administration. as a new national and defense flag
Voilà.
will be given
Thank you very much.
once again to the Chief of Defense Staff.
Thank you.
You can see the new cased flag, the new
Voilà.
cased national and defense flag being presented
Voilà, Monsieur
to
Boiré. Très bien.
the new President of the Federal
suis
Republic
vraiment
of
excité
Nigeria,
par cette
His Excellency,
Ouais.
President BOLA AHMED TINUBU,
Thank
who
you.
will in turn present the new national and defense flag to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo,
Ouais.
CFR,
Voilà.
as he turns about.
Le président Bola Ahmed Tinubu a passé le drapeau au chef de corps d'armée, le général Irabo. Irabo passera le drapeau au commandant des gardes de brigade et nous aurons l'usage de ces deux drapeaux dans quelques minutes. C'est la passation du pouvoir. Merci beaucoup.
You can see the Chief of Defense Staff handing over the case flag to the Commander Guards Brigade, who turns about and proceeds to hand it over to the Regimental Sergeant Major Guards Brigade Nigerian Army, Master Warrant Officer Al-IyamoyeTv, as he pays compliment and receives the case flag from the Commander Guards Brigade, Brigadier General A.M. Umar, who pays compliment as the Regimental Sergeant Major turns about carrying the brand new cased national and defense flags to hand it over to the flag bearers as they pay compliment. He opens the case flag. First to be retrieved is the new national flag by Sergeant Undoma Patrick of the Nigerian Air Force and the new defense flag by Sergeant Kanu Samson of the Nigerian Army. He pays compliment as they turn about and proceed to hand them over to Corporal Kalu Chigozie of the Nigerian Navy. Compliment being paid there once again as they take a step forward to receive the brand new national and defense flags compliment being paid as a turnabout and proceed to the polls for the hosting of the national and defense flags respectively, signifying the beginning of a new administration of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President BOLA AHMED TINUBU, GCFR.
Mesdames et messieurs, vous témoignez maintenant l'issage du drapeau national et du drapeau de la défense, ce qui signifie le commencement de la nouvelle l'issage
national and defense flags
Very interesting pictures you're seeing there, aren't they, of activities happening right now live at Eagle Square in Abuja. It's official, as you would have seen on our Twitter thread. The government of the Buhari administration is over. We have a new president now in the person of BOLA AHMED TINUBU as the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That picture you're seeing, of course, is one of those rare moments where the Nigerian flag is being hoisted all across, and this new flags also are being hoisted, as we have seen in the official demonstration that has happened earlier as the events unfold. We apologize for the audio. We are working on it. We definitely will ensure that we'll do it better. Okay, now, so these images are saying that indeed and indeed we have a new president right there, right now, in Abuja.
Indeed, and what was very instructive for me was at that moment, we had a new president and then an immediate past president, just about 20, 30.
We request the Chief of Defense Staff, General, to crave the indulgence of the Commander Gas Brigade to usher the immediate past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to take his seat. The Commander, sir.
Well, there you see the symbolic handshake between now outgone President Muhammadu Buhari and Nigeria's new president, BOLA AHMED TINUBU. I mean, it's understandable that at this venue you'll have lots of jammers, you know, jamming signals, satellite signals. So, you know, hearing the audio back and forth is testament to that one. But it's something we're working on. But there you see live images, a historic moment for Nigeria as a nation. President Buhari about to get into, well, former President Buhari, that might get some, might take some getting used to. Really. Now about to get into the SUV. Of course, the SUV has been stripped of the official, you know, plates and all of that. You see people waving at Muhammadu Buhari. Now citizen Muhammadu Buhari. Citizen. Just like every other Nigerian.
And I think once you get into that spray, you seem to get into the statesman's club, right?
Yes. And he doesn't lose the title fully. He remains former president, Muhammadu Buhari. And, you know, Kadi was talking about emotions earlier on. I, for one, also imagined that it must have been a tumble of emotions between the outgoing president at that moment and the new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, both of them bearing huge similarities in their trajectories as they, you know, rode to power. The former president contesting 3 times, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself having to have, you know, seemingly sacrificed his ambition back then in 2015 before coming back, you know, in 2022 to clinch the ticket, you know, amid some difficulty, you know, even with a repeat of that Muslim ticket, which didn't go down without some controversy, but which we're now seeing playing out as he has now realized what he described as his lifelong ambition of becoming the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
If you go to our Twitter thread, you will find the order of events, and this is one of those things you'll find now. What is interesting is that as soon as the handover is done, former President Buhari leaves for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport en route Katsina using a different car from the one that brought him to the venue, and he takes off for Katsina with 001 for the last time.
And, you know, he's always talked about how he longed to return, you know, to Katsina, to Daura, his hometown.
So that's the man in charge now.
Yeah. That's the man in charge now.
Going to take that ride.
Oh, yes. You know, it rained in the early hours of today, and there was that concern as to whether this would happen. And there you go, President Bola Tinubu with that iconic wave. Live images from the Eagle Square, Abuja. There you see, with the iconic cap and the logo that he's always used, the green cap.
Yes, significant logo. With today's inauguration.
Indeed,
the national
Nigerian
colors.
Flags. There you go, with that symbolic presidential wave. History clearly in the making. And a lot of people always wonder, what will be going through the mind of Nigeria's new president? What is he seeing? Is he seeing the enormous challenge ahead of him? Is he seeing what exactly is going through his mind? That's the question. That's $1 million question right there.
But indisputably, it will be a moment of fulfillment for him. He's always longed for this. He's always wanted this.
On the one hand.
But Nigerians hope that unlike, you know, what the former president longed for, that there would be evidence of renewed hope in this administration, you know, not just longing for it, but, you know, being able to fulfill the aspirations, the collective aspirations of Nigerians.
Did I hear former president again? But yeah. Yes, God, you're right. It's going to take some getting used to.
It's going to take some time.
But, you know, there are those who say that this new president is one of the most prepared presidents, one of the few we had who actually prepared to be president of the country, and it's not just a ceremony. I think it definitely... Okay, so let's go back and listen to audio from Eagle Square in Abuja.
His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu was headhunted for both international and local companies, including Mobile Nigeria, where he held important positions like senior auditor and company treasurer. He left the company to embark upon his political determination, commitment, vision, focus, and a strong sense of purpose that have characterized Bola Tinubu's politics drove his emergence as one of the country's most successful governors after Nigeria's return to democratic governance 23 years ago. His stewardship of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007 remains a reference for good governance in Nigeria and across the region. Among the most consequential and impressive of his achievements as the governor of Lagos was his revolution of the state's environmental policies and the creation of thousands of jobs for Lagosians through the private sector partnership program he established. Other important achievements while governor of Lagos include education reforms, under which now thriving mission schools were returned to their original owners after decades of government control. Free education and West African Examination Council forms for school leavers, giving underprivileged children access to further education. More career opportunities and better life prospects. Civil service reforms, which led directly to the introduction of a more responsive and expert-led civil service in Lagos. Judicial reforms and the Lagos Master Plan blueprint, which has been and continues to be followed with great success by all subsequent governors of Lagos. Also worthy of mention is that as a first-class financial strategist, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu overhauled and reformed, laid the groundwork necessary for Lagos to have the revenue to improve the state and modernize living conditions of all of its inhabitants. A graceful leader imbued with courage and commitment to justice. Bola Tinubu combines practical, political acumen, strategic vision, and moral principle. When the history of the first 2 decades of the 21st century in Nigeria is written, it will record Bola Tinubu's rare courage and foresight in guiding his party, the All Progressive Congress, to victory in 2015, and how, working with other patriots, he abolished the determined efforts of the then ruling party to turn Nigeria into a one party. Much as he understands the game of power, Indeed, his democratic footprints go beyond Nigeria. They span the continent, especially in the immediate West African sub-region, where he has contributed personal resources, advice, and support to help sustain democracy and popular participation in.
Thank you very much, Flight Lieutenant. First to say Mrs. Olubumi Badejo and Mr. Mohammed Tijani for the wonderful citation of the special guest of honor on this auspicious occasion. Distinguished guests, ladies.
Shoulder arms. Hands into the colors. Take both. Red will mark pass in slow and quick time. Division into columns. Forming squad on the right and left. Kolopate leading by the center. Right and left wheel. Slow march!
Your Excellencies, most distinguished invited guests, very senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, there's still events unfolding here at the Eagle Square, where activities climaxing the Presidential Inauguration and swearing-in ceremony of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President BOLA, TINUBU, GCFR. Witness a while ago, the parade commander giving orders for the guards to form 3 ranks and commence the march past. What you are witnessing now are the guards forming squad without changing formation, before forming an extended line formation by the guards towards the saluting days, led by the Polo Party. The essence is for the guards to pay their respect to the special guest of honor who has taken his position on the saluting days, and also for the reviewing officer to take a close look at the turnout of the guards who are impeccably dressed at close range. Before presenting arms to the special guest of honor, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President BOLA TINUBU, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it will also interest you to know that the far pass towards the saluting days and the forming squads by the guards is another display of silent drill, as the guards are only reacting to the initial words of command given by the parade commander before the commencement of the march pass. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please happy viewing.
Supérieur, les chefs d'État des pays africains qui nous ont honorés avec leur présence. Mesdames et messieurs, ce que nous voyons maintenant actuellement, c'est le membre de la force armée nigériane. Les escortes des drapeaux, derrière lui, il marche vers le diage des salutations afin de montrer et justifier la loyauté de la force armée nigériane au président, son Excellence marche majestueusement, calmement, avec la dignité, le courage, la fierté, qui sont les qualités de l'armée dans le monde. Vraiment kaléidoscopique, plein de couleurs qui signifient une nouvelle ère de la dysfonction, nouvelle dysfonction au Nigeria. Mon commandant, mon capitaine Abouaba, je passe la parole à vous.
Merci. Senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, what you are watching at the moment are the guards forming squad to the right and left of the parade ground, preparatory for the presenting of Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To the left half of the saluting days, we have the number 1, 2, and 3 guards provided by the Nigerian Army. And to the right half of the saluting days, we have the number 4 guard provided by the Nigerian Navy. Navy color and the Air Force color being carried by commissioned officers known as ensigns to the colors. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, witnessed a while ago the various guards paying compliments, all to show their honor and loyalty to the special guest of honor. After paying compliments, we are now retreating back in an orderly fashion. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please have it.
Mesdames et messieurs, comme vous voyez, il y a 6 gardes en parade ce matin. Nous avons le 2 premiers gardes composés de l'armée de la 4e garde est composée de la marine nationale. La 5e garde est composée de l'armée de l'air nigériane. Et nous avons aussi la 16e garde composée par la police nationale. Le président s'approche. Levez-vous s'il vous plaît.
Your Excellencies, most distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we sit back and enjoy this beautiful parade by these amazing officers and men, permit me to acquaint you with the significance of 21 gun salute, which is part of activities lined up for today's celebration. The 21 gun salute is a military tradition used to accord respect or honor to dignitaries. Generally, saluting is done using hand, sword, colors, small arms, and firing of artillery guns. Salute by gunfire is an ancient ceremony which originated in the 17th century and involves the use of artillery guns to fire ammunition, usually blanks, to welcome important dignitaries or commemorate an anniversary. Traditionally, gun salutes are presented to honor or welcome a foreign president or head of state on a state visit. It is also used to cover reopen days, marking of public holidays and independence anniversary celebrations. Others include Ascension Day, State Funeral of the late President, and Independence Day. In Nigeria, one salute is provided during Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations, inauguration parades, Independence Anniversary, and in honor of visiting presidents. Today we shall be witnessing the firing of 21 gun salute to signify the great respect and unflinching loyalty that the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Nigerian Police have for the exalted office and the personage of His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. On that note, that I request our distinguished guests not to panic.
Well, the images you're seeing right there, of course, the Eagle Square is right there. But then that insert picture, that little box that you're seeing right there on the screen as well, is that of the now outgone President Muhammadu Buhari and his family heading towards Daura at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport right there in Abuja, heading towards the aircraft to finally go to Daura, as the president, what the former president had often said over and over again. Most certainly, I wonder the kind of emotions, not just for the president, but his wife and his children as well.
The entire first family.
After 8 years. I mean, first power is transient. As I said, he came into that arena this morning as the president. Now he's former president, just like that. I know that the current president says that he will seek advice, come knock on his door and all of that, but the former president has been quite clear about what he'll be doing after his time in office. He's said it time and again that he couldn't just wait to go back to his farming, to his livestock and all of that. And I know for a lot of Nigerians this might be an emotional moment as well, looking back at the past 8 years, the promises made and the deliveries, the reality on ground. It's going to be it's going to take a lot of retrospection for Nigerians, and I imagine for the former president himself. But those are live images from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in the nation's capital, Abuja. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, Citizen Buhari, as I'm calling him now, departing or about to depart to Daura with his family.
Well, convenient not to topple as we're doing on that title, president. So we get used to the new reality that we now have a new president, who is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But it's been a mix of emotions right here as we watch the initial parade, the handover of the flag, the national flag and the defense flag from the former president to the new president. And the parade, the splash of colors, the array of white on green of the men of the armed forces as they paraded. And we've heard the voice of the president, acknowledging the armed forces as he inspected the parade, the guard, the combination of the armed forces. It's a beautiful ceremony, but much more important, is what lies ahead of the incoming president. Nigerians are expecting governance in equal measure of aesthetics. It's a tall order, very demanding. But that's the job he signed up for, and he says, look, don't pity me. So Nigerians are not, they're waiting for immediate results. But the question is, how soon will the results start coming in?
If you have the answer, you can just give it to us right there on Twitter.
But, in that insert, you still see that the former president still has a couple of people around him. And that's what some of the people in power would tell you, that the moment they're out of power, all of the knocks on your doors, the people waiting to see you, all of those, if people lined up, it usually reduces, and there's always that silence. So
that proverbial, the phone stopped ringing.
Stopped ringing. Yes, he still has a couple of people, saying goodbye to him. I imagine some of his staff, and there you see approaching the aircraft and walking in. So,
well, our correspondent, Emperor Simon, is there, and hopefully we'll be able to have a word or two with him when the time is right. But then don't forget that the big screen still shows you
the big event.
The big event. The picture you are giving you from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is no less significant, but just so you know, as Kaudi said, power is strengthened. You are a human being, but you occupy a position at any given point in time, and who knows for how long.
And there goes former President Muhammadu Buhari into that aircraft. Well, I'd just like to mention that the bigger screen, it looks like the camera is trying to go into the skies as well, just to follow.
Taking off ahead.
What you're seeing on the big screen, there's still a lot to expect from the Eagle Square. Actually, this is a march past in slow and quick time, colorful display. Honestly, it's always beautiful to watch. I mean, look at that, all marching in synchronization. It's just beautiful seeing the work that has gone into this, by the way. Lots of man-hours of rehearsals, and you have to get everything right. Everything has to be perfect, excellent, precise. And that's what a lot of Nigerians will be expecting from the government. I think so. This is a typology of the expectations of Nigeria. All of your decisions, the activities of the government has to be top-notch, excellent in synchronization, from the president's decisions to his cabinet to the National Assembly. People have invested, their votes in them, so they expect nothing less excellent. So after that, we'll still look forward to the big one, the CNC's speech. Now it's the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
So that's, you can see, is the First Lady, former First Lady, we say now?
Well, speaking of speeches, Nigerians continue to put the former president to task on that very significant line from his first speech, I belong to everyone and I belong to no one. So Nigerians will also going to be looking forward to, the significant promises, the significant lines, the paradoxes, if any, of the speech that we're about to hear from the incoming president, and the hope that, well, we'll be hoping that
the income.
It takes some getting used to the new president, and they're going to be, holding him by his words, in the coming 4 years. So we're looking forward to that inaugural speech.
Most certainly. But don't also forget the insert. Hopefully, will also show images of the former vice president. Oh dear God. The former vice president will also be coming in anytime soon for his own journey home as well. And of course, so you can see the parade is still quite functional, quite active. And you were talking about the immense work that has gone into this. Guys, when we talk about working for Nigeria, making Nigeria better, the littlest things matter. Kade, you talked about the man-hours that went into this parade. Someone composed songs that have been played. That is service to nation.
I mean, look at the brass instruments.
The ensemble.
It's just beautiful, the ensemble, the orchestra. They're playing in unison.
Exactly.
And I think, again, it's what we expect from government.
Someone composed the song. So the littlest thing that you can do for the nation is, can you just keep that at the top of mind? As we say, is it in PR or in advertising, top of mind awareness? Let Nigeria be so topmost on your mind that the littlest thing that you do, the wind that comes through your nostrils and through your throat, is all about making Nigeria great. This that each one of these fellows are doing is about the greatness of Nigeria. Displaying it in front of many presidents from various parts of the world that are here.
Aya, you always talk about our core values and how the Constitution spells it out. Dignity, patriotism, and this speaks to those core values, and they stem from institutions. So we must build institutions, and it's reminiscent of our earlier conversation, about how Nigerians need to do their part first. It took a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work and resilience, for men of the armed forces to come up with this that would cause.
So let's go back to Eagle Square now.
Nigeria.
Yeah, let's go back to the Eagle Square, take a little some more listening to this, and perhaps get more pictures of what is going on right now.
rise as part of the component of color parties. Behind national and regimental color of the Nigerian Army is Master Warrant Officer Victoria Unisa. Behind Nigerian Navy color is Master Warrant Officer Edeche Samuel. And behind Nigerian Air Force color is Master Warrant Officer Hussein Yigita. Paying compliment right now is number 4 guard, which is commanded by Lieutenant Commander Tomilayo Lukman Dali. Squadron leader Usman Babasambo, riding on a horse named Umar, after the Commander Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Aminu Muhammad Umar. May I once again please request that when the color parties marches towards your sitting position, you are please expected to rise as a mark of respect to the colors. Officers and warrant officers in uniform are expected to salute. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, mon lieutenant Okunari. Mesdames et messieurs, comme vous voyez, nous sommes toujours à Eagle Square. Et toujours en avant avec, il est sur son cheval. Les autres officiers sont sur parade. Et vraiment, c'est une activité kaléidoscopique. Et vraiment, cela indique. Il annonce nouvelle ère dans la disposition du Nigeria. Mesdames et messieurs, comme vous voyez, le premier garde est commandé par le capitaine Man Issa et le commandant Moussa Hamza Yakoubou. La deuxième garde est commandée par Major en commandant Olufumi Lola. Troisième garde est commandée, non, il y a 4 membres des escortes de drapeau. Lorsqu'ils vous approchent, mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous saluer. Toujours les militaires qui sont en uniforme, les officiers et les sous-officiers. Les troisième garde, mesdames et messieurs, est composé de l'armée de terre. Nous avons 3 gardes formés, composés de l'armée de terre. La 4e garde est composée de la marine nationale. 5e garde est composée de l'armée de l'air nigériane. Et la 5e garde est composée de la police nationale. Vraiment, c'est une activité très intéressante. Nous sommes ravis avec tout ce qui se passe. Vous voyez les membres de la force armée nigériane qui sont fiers, parfaitement tenus. Ils sont rigoureux, vigilants et respectueux de la hiérarchie. Mesdames et messieurs, vous serez d'accord avec nous qu'ils se conduisent avec l'humeur, courage et dignité. Ils sont toujours disponibles et disciplinés. Voici les qualités de l'armée nigériane. En quelques minutes, ils vont changer le défilé. Au lieu de marcher lentement, ils vont marcher rapidement. Toujours pour justifier et montrer leur loyauté au président de la République, le nouveau président BOLA AHMED TINUBU.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests,
Well, as you can see, the match was slow. Now
they've switched gears.
It's
Quick
quite
time.
fast now, quick time. A number of people might be remembering that song. I remember when I was a soldier. Come on, you never were a soldier.
This is representation, really, Nigerian Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Nigerian Police, actually. And it's just beautiful to see the colors.
Beautiful to behold.
The fact that they're all synchronized, you know, the white gloves, their side arms, the
sash, the red sash.
Everything just really perfect. And this is quick time now. They did the slow time for quite some time, and they moved on to quick time. You still see the insert from Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Former president, former first lady, actually. They were there earlier. I think we're expecting former vice president and his wife as well. You know, just going to the former vice president's Twitter handle, you see things have changed. Even for the former president as well, changed. You know, the designations on it, even the profile picture. You know, essentially saying adios. It's now in the hands of President Bola Tinubu. And
all significant websites have transited.
Exactly.
Yes.
Bukola was reminding us of Wikipedia updating. The new president's profile has already been updated on Twitter.
Yes.
It's interesting that Twitter did this. I'm sorry, Wikipedia did it so quickly.
Yeah.
Someone must have been on cue.
Oh yes, it's a big one. I mean, this is Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's the largest black nation, over 200 million people. I mean, you see the heads of state present there. Beautiful aerial view, by the way. We have the presidents of South Africa, the president of Rwanda, Ghana,
president of Kenya,
president of Liberia, and the rest. So there's a lot of representation.
And representation also, yes.
Yeah, from the US and other countries, and even the Middle East. So you know how big this is, not just for Africa, but for the world at large. I mean, we always say that Nigeria is a blessed nation, but indeed we are blessed. And you know that whatever happens to Nigeria or happens in Nigeria naturally affects not just the continent, but even the world at large. I mean, talk about our human capacity. You've seen them right here.
Yeah.
This is a picture. I always say the Inspector General of Police, you know, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Defense and the rest, all of them saluting. And there is the president with a slow time, and now the quick
It's easy
time.
to watch it again, just record. Go to YouTube and just...
No, he doesn't have to record.
Transition, please.
Just play back on Channel TV broadcast. Or just search for it, on Channel TV's YouTube page.
Well, big day,
and
really. It's a big day for Nigeria. I will do that much later. This is the Eagle Square venue of the inauguration of President BOLA TINUBU and his vice, Kashim Shettima. You're watching what is turning out to be a really colorful event, really. Even the inset you're seeing is colorful with the red carpet at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. So we're giving you a mix of what's going on at the Eagle Square and at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. So we're winding down with the March Past and we're going into the air display.
Guests of honor, sir, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, I warmly and heartily welcome you all to the aerial display segment of this ceremony. 5 aircraft types from the Nigerian Air Force inventory are performing in today's aerial display. The first aircraft was the Augusta 109, which you saw, proudly displaying the national colors during the hoisting of the national and defense flags. The crew comprised Squadron Leader Larry Azi, Flight Lieutenant Shaibu and Ariola. The helicopter operates out of 405 Helicopter Training Group, Enugu, unit commanded by Wing Commander Deji Omokunga, tasked with the conduct of advanced combat training for NAV helicopter pilots. The remaining 4 aircraft performing will be in the following order.
Pictures again from Eagle Square, Abuja, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport showing right now. Okay, well, okay.
Well, it's something that you would actually love to see when the air display starts right away. I mean, we saw a snippet, as I said, and you heard the announcer there speaking about the first helicopter we saw, and we're going to see some more. This is one of the major highlights, really, and you know they have to be very precise. You know, flying an aircraft, normally a passenger aircraft or war aircraft, on a normal day is a lot of work. But for an air display, is even extra work because it comes with art, it comes with extra precision and all of that. So this is going to be one of the major highlights of today's inauguration. So,
and are we expecting a landing as well?
Well, it will land somewhere else, but not, of course, on the ground.
Not on the
yes,
ground.
You just see them fly over, and it's going to be definitely something.
Did I hear you say
fly? And it all gives you, a sense of pride in your democracy, makes you feel very proud about being a Nigerian. And you were saying earlier, Ayo, about, the need to translate, this ceremony into, the lingua franca of other African countries that is not necessarily ours, but because Nigeria is, one of the leading countries on the continent, it would be important to have, all the audience on the African continent participate in this ceremony.
Well, that's a matter for other conversation later, but we have a couple of gentlemen here with us who can speak to some of the significance of some of the issues, the symbolic meaning of some of them. Professor Femi Otubanjo is here with us. He's a professional of international politics and strategic studies at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much.
As well as Professor Sylvester Ahaine, who is a professor of political science, Lagos State University. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You've been here with us for quite a while. Oh, by the way, it would seem like activities, just quick one here, activities are ramping up, so to speak, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport now.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Just to be sure, it looks like the former vice president.
Former vice president.
Not quite sure. Or it looks like actually the president or former president.
Get used to it.
The former president. Muhammadu Buhari, there with his wife, former First Lady, departing, it would seem. You had thought that they had gotten into the aircraft earlier on, but it would look like that was another set.
Altogether.
There you go, former president.
And don't forget that the former vice president and his wife and family will be on their way as well. We wish we could keep our eyes on all events at the same time, but let's just take note of that as well.
But both symbolic events.
Both
Perhaps,
symbolic,
of course,
yes.
the bigger one is happening at the Eagles Square.
Eagles
but
Square.
for a man that was #1 citizen for 8 years, this is definitely a big one. And you see some of those members of security forces giving their salute as Muhammadu Buhari, citizen, departs Abuja with his wife. 8 years. I'm sure they will